Mailbag time here on the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. I'm answering questions that came in during our live show, which airs every single Tuesday at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. So let's jump into our first question coming in from Ben Bass. My mock draft earlier, I got Tyler Warren, Ashton Judkins, and Jalen Royals. Impossible? I wouldn't say impossible. 1/3 of this seems impossible. The Tyler Warren part right there, I don't think he gets past the Colts. The Indianapolis Colts pick at 14. So unless Denver wants to trade up for him, which that could happen, if Warren, let's say, gets past the Bears at 10, which that's been somewhat rumored, and Miami's on the clock at 13, if Denver wants to give up a future first to go from 20 to 13, which is roughly in the neighborhood of what it would cost, then they could secure Tyler Warren and they could get Ashton Judkins, Quinshon Judkins, and Jalen Royals in rounds 2 and 3. But it would definitely require a trade up for Warren. I don't think he's going to be there at 20. It is the draft. Crazy things happen, but impossible, no. Unlikely, yes. Judkins, though, you can get in round 2. And then Royals, this is a Utah State receiver that if you want to sound smart in front of your friends, like if you're going to watch the draft out at a bar, it's like, who's this Utah State guy? Just tell them, oh, he's good. Just leave it at that. And if you're a friend who's a team that drafted Jalen Royals, just hit him up with a nice little, oh, you're going to love this player. And that's going to make that guy's day. Danny, next one up on the show. If Denver takes a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds, does that mean the Sutton era is over or extension? No extension. Good question, Danny. I would lean towards yes. If they go receiver in round 1, absolutely. Round 2, that might not be the case. They might have a game plan for round 2, and all of a sudden, like Luther Burden is there or Matthew Golden is there, and they just simply can't pass on him, but they still like Courtland Sutton, right? They went into the draft thinking, we're going to get Omarion Hampton, and then we're going to get a defensive tackle. And then round 2 arrives, and Golden's available, and they're like, he's way too good to pass on, but we're going to still keep Sutton in the plans long term. So first 2 rounds, no. First round, I would lean towards yes, but I still think Denver's going to get an extension done with Sutton on a 2 to 3 year basis. Julian, if Las Vegas doesn't take Jeanty at 6 overall, what are your thoughts on trading up with Carolina in the draft this year's first and second, along with next year's second and third together? So just to give the outline here, we're going from 20 to 8. And to jump up 12 spots, you're talking about giving up second round pick this year, future second, and future third. I think Carolina is going to want a future first. I think we were trying to do as a fantasy football trade where can we give you 3 average players for 1 good player? The Panthers are going to want a future first if they go from 8 all the way to 20. So let me kind of redraw this as this year's first, next year's first, and probably next year's third to go up to 8. I base that off of when the Bears jumped from 20 to 11 to get Justin Fields. They gave up a future first and a future third. You want to go from 20 to 8, future first and future third is precedent. So that's going to be the minimum at least. And would I do that? I don't know. I mean, that's a lot for a running back. I know, but I think Jeanty is just going to be generational. I think he's going to be a Saquon Barkley, a Christian McCaffrey type running back immediately. So if they do it, I won't be mad. If they don't do it, I can understand why. I can really talk myself into either one. Juan Luis Martinez, why have you not talked about Emeka Egbuka? And what's your opinion on Ty Hamilton, Ohio State defensive tackle? So let's talk about 2 Buckeyes here. Emeka Egbuka, I have not talked about because I don't think that Denver really needs to prioritize wide receiver in this draft. I've been very clear about that. Golden's like the only guy that I think is worth a first-round pick if I'm Denver. So because of that, I don't really have a lot of interest in Egbuka because I don't think he'll be available around pick 50-ish when Denver's back on the clock in round 2. If he is there, okay. Like I can definitely warm up to it. But I don't think receivers as big of a need as some other people do. So I've cooled off on that in round 1. Now, as for Tyreek Hamilton, you're talking about Ohio State defense tackle. He is one of, I want to make sure I don't mix up the other defense tackle they have, best run-stopping guys in this draft class at that position, which those guys don't usually scream rounds 1 to 2 in the draft. They have to kind of be a generational, like Vita Vea type run stopper, but even he's got some good pass rush upside to his game. Usually the true run-stopping DTs go rounds 3 to 4. So I would say that could be more of a late day 2, early day 3 target. Moses, and then we'll tell everyone about our friends at Game Time. Please throw on Luther Burden's every target tape. You'll see an amazing wide receiver that was just held back from terrible quarterback play. Moses, I don't think you're wrong for this belief as to why he didn't have the production he had in 2023 this past year. Brady Cook was injured, and he definitely was a casualty of that. My concern with Burden, the reason why I haven't been very outspoken or an agenda pusher for him at 20 is, one, he is predominantly a yards after catch type of receiver, but vast majority of receptions have come within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. So that to me starts to downplay his ability to run multiple routes. And for pick 20, I don't want a one-trick pony. In round 3, I'll ride that one-trick pony until it falls off, right? But round 1, I need a guy that can do a lot for me at receiver, not just yards after catch. And that's where I could easily be wrong, and will look back and laugh at me. And that's where, if Luther Burden has a successful NFL career, the reason why I got it wrong in pre-draft was I kind of looked at him as a yards after catch guy, not someone who can stretch the field, who can run lots of routes. And for round 1, I like that in a wide receiver. I also think this receiver room is better than people give it credit for. And as for the quarterback part, you're not wrong. Yeah, that definitely dinged his stock and profile. I'd hope that a receiver that goes round 1 is so talented that bad or average quarterback play does not bring them down. That's why receivers go round 1, the ones that do. They're so good, it doesn't matter who you pair them with, they can still put up great numbers. Now, before we move on to the rest of today's mailbag, I do have to give a quick shout out to Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. So let's say you want to go watch the Nuggets, or you want to go watch the Avs or the Rockies. I suggest you visit Game Time first, see what kind of deals they have going. They have zone deals, they'll have flash deals, plus last-minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Next question rolling in from Sam I Am. They need to pick up a veteran running back. I hear that. They've got this. They're in a weird state running back room wise. On one hand, the running back room was bad last year. On the other hand, you've got Audric Estime going into year 2, so you kind of want to save a spot for him on the roster, right? Jaleel McLaughlin, I don't want to give up on just yet. Am I wrong? Do we feel the same way? Can we agree that there should be a plan to have McLaughlin on the roster next year still? So there's 2 backs right there. So if you plan on taking your rookie, usually you only carry 3 running backs. So I'm not really finding a hole for a spot for another running back. And you've already got a lot of other competition with Tyler Bidet and Blake Watson. Now those guys are not locks to make the roster, but I want to say Estime and McLaughlin, well, they shouldn't be locks. You should pencil them in for the roster. And if you plan on drafting a rookie, there's your third running back. And you already have a fullback of Michael Burton. So you're going to take 5 backs? If you add a veteran, you're looking at minimum 5 backs unless you want to dump Estime after one season or Jaleel McLaughlin, which I'm not comfortable doing just yet. Sam, I am. Appreciate your thought, though. UMC smoke. Will they pick Tej Johnson? I don't think that they're going to treat this like an MLB draft. MLB drafts go like 40 rounds, don't they? And by round 40, like, teams make silly picks. And they make picks they're not very serious about. The NBA draft has a very storied history of it used to be way too long. And, like, the Boston Celtics, I think, one time drafted a chair. Because, like, we're out of players to draft. I think they drafted a dead person one time. Look it up. There's, like, a really funny, like, history of this. The NFL is 7 rounds. You're not out there making, like, fun, feel-good story picks because Bo Nix has a connection with Tej Johnson. He had a bad combine. Like, the height, the weight, and the speed were alarmingly low and slow. But the the tape and the pads on tell a different story. I think he's likely going to be a 6th or 7th round draft pick. At that point, depending on what Denver does rounds 1 through 5, I could see that being a possibility. I can't look at you with a straight face and go, yes, Denver will make this pick in round 7. Denver doesn't know who they're getting in round 7. UMC smoke, thank you, though. Aaron Gonzalez, I really want Mitchell Evans, tight end from Notre Dame. Little biased because I'm a Fighting Irish fan, but I think he's underrated. He's a big dude, pause. He's a good blocker, and he has good hands. Before I even open up my mouth, how about producer Moose, who is a diehard Notre Dame fan, gives you a much better response as someone that watched every single Notre Dame game this past season. Moose, all yours.
Yes. So Mitchell Evans, not the best tight end out of Notre Dame in recent years. He wasn't nearly as productive as Michael Mayer. However, I think that a lot of what, was kind of up in the air for Evans was because Riley Leonard is a very at the line of scrimmage kind of player, and Evans is a middle of the field tight end. So their games just did not mesh well. He did really well with like slot receivers and X receivers that take screens really well. So I like Mitchell Evans as a prospect. I think you're going to see a much better NFL career than you saw last year at Notre Dame.
All right. There it is from our Notre Dame insider. Next question coming in. Danny, I would love to see Omarion, Hampton, and Kaleb Johnson, we think, in the backfield dream team. That would be a lot of fun, but I don't think they're too similar in like style backs, right? They're both bruising running backs. Go get Thunder and Lightning. Don't do Thunder and Thunder. Go get a Lightning guy. A Lightning guy would be like Devin Neal out of Kansas. Pair him with Omarion Hampton. AFX, $5 super chat. Trade for, who is this? Trade for blank. He would likely be a good partner for Garrett, but Browns, LOL, must watch Squid Game. I don't know who Kebab is. I'm trying to. Kaleb who? I don't know. AFX, I'm sorry. I don't know who Kebab is. You lost me. So, this one's just going to die on screen. Sorry. Chris L. Hometown kid, Troy Horton in round 4. I'm not going to say that I'm a round 4 prospect expert, but let's see what happens rounds 1 through 3. But a hometown pick is always a good feel-good story. Okay, go back to AFX's. AFX saying trade for Kayvon Thibodeau would be a good partner for, I believe he's talking about Myles Garrett, but Broncos. So, Kayvon Thibodeau, I don't think is leaving the Giants, but they do draft Brian Burns. Draft Abdul Carter. Brian Burns. Kayvon Thibodeau is now the odd man out. If we have one more question, we can wrap it up with that one, and then we'll sign off. That's the last question. Meant to be. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's do name a random New York Giant. You ready? I got one. You can play two, Moose. See if we say the same person. Here we go. Name a random New York Giant. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jeremy Shockey.
Darius Slade.
Good one. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see everyone next time.